Hey peeps, kind of excited about this video today. This data was captured this morning, Tuesday, September 6th. So basically, going through the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers slash tight ends, depending on how quick I go here. What I'm looking at is what were the highest scores each week on DraftKings last year, who got them, and where do they approximately place on this year's rankings. Because remember, this isn't salary cap based. This is dollar based. You can buy players and sort of form a chalk lineup. I'm sort of trying to go how deep you could go and of a probabilities of what levels of quarterbacks, running backs, etc. that hit last year in having the top lineup in a given week, or the highest score, the highest score, not lineup, the actual highest score by position in a given week from last season. Now, where there was a superstar, I would tend to go to the next one down, but that would be running back, wide receiver, quarterback, whichever one sort of was the next one down. And there were multiple weeks last year that had multiple superstars coming in. So in the reality of DraftKings Reignmakers, you would have only been play one of those, so that pushed it down deeper as well. So if you look at who came in last year, the actual players, Allen 3 times, Burrow 3, Brady 2, Jackson 2, Mahomes 2, Murray 2, Prescott 2, Darnold 1, Herbert 1, Huntley 1, Hurts 1, Rodgers 1, Stafford 1. First thing to notice is that pocket passer types actually did pretty well last year. When you look at Burrow, Brady, Prescott, Herbert, Rodgers, Stafford. And running quarterbacks did well also, which is what people tend to like, is the running quarterbacks and the PPR players on DraftKings and fantasy in general. But this was not salary cap based, and you can see that the sort of pocket passer types did well. For Darnold, I actually substituted Baker. Baker's rough position this year. Huntley was an outlier. So what this basically comes up with, and the blue ones are these superstar cards. So you can only use one of those in a lineup. So basically what this comes up with, based on last season, was around the top 7 quarterbacks came in 64% of the time. If you go down to the top 12 quarterbacks, they encompass that 91% of the time. So 91% of the top scoring weekly performance by quarterbacks, with extra, taking into account superstar cards, 91% came in here. Now, on the expert rankings from Fantasy Pros, which is like a ECR ranking of various experts, not specifically to DraftKings, but I believe their PPR scoring is pretty close. They have it in these tiers, quarterbacks currently. 4 down to 9, down to 15. So if you wanted to own the chalk, 64% down to the 7th quarterback, but the second tier actually goes down to the 9th quarterback. 91% to the 12th quarterback, so that pretty much covers it. However, their tier goes down to 15, so you may want to consider that because Rodgers, Cousins, and Carr. A couple others I mentioned that aren't on this are Tua, Lawrence, and Winston in any given week. Of course, any quarterback can come in any given week, but last year it was pretty well dominated down to here. Now, Hurts and Murray are the highest ranked non-superstar quarterbacks. So some people actually have a tier to there. But regardless, let's just take a quick look at the prices and rough amounts there are of these. Please double check this data, and remember, you're putting money up at risk. Don't buy a very expensive card just because I mention it. Please do your own research on all of this. I estimated that there's 3,000 to 4,000 of the core cards out there currently. That number will go up. Probably all of these will go up as the season goes along, as they issue more. But where we are at currently, I estimate there's only 3,000 to 4,000 each of these. These 665 to 765, again, that may be more towards the maximum, but double check. 80 to 105 of these, 10 to 20 of these, and 0 to 2 of these. because I'm not 100% sure here if these are ones that just nobody has put it up for sale or they haven't been issued. Now, taking a quick look at the core prices. The Thursday game, showdown game, is LA Rams, Buffalo. You can see Stafford and Allen are both jacked up on that because people are buying these. Well, first off, this has gone up since I've been talking about it. The highest tier cards in general have probably been going up the most, which makes sense because people are like, well, if I get together, like the chalk lineup sort of would be like Hurts or Murray, Jonathan Taylor, something like Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, and then a fifth spot. And sort of like if you buy that lineup and like 10 of the other good ones, I guess you're figuring, or you can have 10 lineups that should cash most of the time through the year and may hit big one week. Okay, and so you can certainly do that. I mean, it's going to cost more money than sort of maybe picking and choosing, or it depends on what your budget is, and depends on what level of cards you're going for. But so you can see the Allen and Stafford are jacked up. That'll probably come in some after the games are over. But there's also, don't forget, Sunday night and Monday night games, which are going to have showdowns, which I believe are it's Seattle against Denver, and Geno's not on this list. Wilson's at 24. And it's also Dallas, Tampa Bay, unless I'm mistaken. And those are not jacked up, Tom Brady and Dak, when you compare them to Stafford and Allen. Some of the green ones I highlighted on here are ones that look like potential deals. Again, at your own risk, and these prices may be gone. Some of them might just be one that somebody listed low and it's gone. Mahomes and Jackson on a relative basis look cheap here on the core level. Again, Brady and Dak because of the Sunday night game or the showdown game upcoming, and Lance looks a little cheap there. Then we get to the rare level. The bottom three to me look attractive. They're quite a bit cheaper than all the others. That's Aaron Rodgers, Cousins, and Carr. Then you got a Brady, again, looks relatively cheap. And then among these, Lamar Jackson looks cheaper, and Mahomes to some degree. Then you go to the elite tier, where you may only be talking about 100 cards exist. Now, DraftKings, the biggest contest is on the elite. That's the one that has $300,000 prize pool and I believe $100,000 first prize. So it's very heavily, stacked to that first prize. But that's sort of where they seem to be funneling people towards. Obviously, it gets more and more expensive as you go up and more rare, the amount of cards, like quite a bit. But if you look here, the bottom three again, which are actually below the technical, like if you really want to go technical of like where you could rank these any way you want, but I'm just talking about what I'm using as the ranking would be Stafford. But these bottom three again, much lower. Russell Wilson's actually relatively cheap here considering he's in a showdown game. And I think Burrow's a little cheap there, especially when you consider where Hurts and Murray are. And, I like Burrow. I'm a Bengals fan also. It's a shame that Burrow and Chase and the others have been jacked up in so many things online because they had such a great year and they're exciting young players and with a lot of potential. Herbert, this particular Herbert looks cheap here, might be gone, especially when you compare it to these. Of course, Allen is jacked up all across the board, and to some degree Stafford is. But then when you go over to Legendary, there may only be 10 to 20 of these max available currently. And these might not even all be out there. That's sort of have to look at pack sales, I think, to some degree. You can also look at how many are for sale total for each player. Like I went through these yesterday, and I want to say, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I looked at Hurts and Mahomes, and I feel like there were maybe 50 to 150 of these for sale. That's it, currently in the marketplace. So these are going up. This number was 300-ish, and it's up to 340. So anyway, let's just go down the legendary tier real quick. Stafford, considering it's in the Sunday night game or the Thursday game and how it compares to the rest of them, looks cheap. Lance looks a little cheap. I mean, Lance, I haven't really seen him play yet, so sometimes I underestimate young guys. So you have to see on that. Brady looks cheap there, relatively. Dak a little bit too. Lamar and Herbert up here look cheap. Of course, again, there's not many of these, and they can be illiquid. And we're talking about thousands of dollars, so please don't just bank on what I'm saying. But if you compare that to where Mahomes and Allen are in the cheapest, if you compare it on a relative basis, that's purely what I'm talking about. I'm not talking on a real dollar basis saying this is a good deal. Then the Reignmakers, many of these don't even have one listed. Like there's only one Mahomes and somebody put $1.5 million. A few of these have 2 cards listed, so I don't know if they've all had one listed, or some of them, or one created, excuse me, or some of them have had 2. It looks like some of them definitely have had 2, but I don't know if they've all had 2 or some of them only have had 1. So these are very, very, very exclusive cards, and they sort of range from 13,000 to 60,000 if you take out the outlier. And if you judge it on that basis, Hurts, Wilson, and Rodgers currently look like relative deals compared to the others. One other thing to remember is, so the supply is going to vary a little bit. For example, Rodgers is a superstar, but he's not in the field pass. Meanwhile, Burrow is in the field pass, so he may have slightly more on some. And like Hurts, one of the Hurts had less for some reason. So you want to go through individually if you're worried about the exact amounts on that. Again, so this basically shows that rare cards are about, 5 to 6 times as rare as commons. And that matches up sort of here with the price, 1,500 to 300, let's say. Now, these look to be 6 to 7 times as rare as these, right? Elite looks 6 to 7 times as rare as rares. However, they're priced now almost 10 times as rare. So they're sort of overpriced, you could say, on a relative basis. But that could be because the contests are coming in. You know, there's a fairly small number, it seems like, of new people coming in right now. But also you got to remember, so new people coming in are going to be spending money in varying amounts. People are going to wait to the last minute to join and to spend money. But also the people who currently are in it. There's whales, there's small whales or sharks, whatever you want to call them. And some of these people may be even looking to corner markets on some of these, like saying, man, I'm going to buy like 25% of all these that exist. And then when they go up, I'm going to sell them or whatever it is. Or, you know, I want this guy, I want all the, as many Jalen Hurts as I can get or whatever. So you can see how much more that one is on the low floor at the current time. Like that's sort of crazy if you think about that. A Herbert 600 and a Hurts. Now Hurts and Murray are the highest ranked non-superstars, so there is premium on those, and actually in the higher levels you can almost see it a little more. And then so then you go to these. These are about 5 times ish rarer, and that's about 5 times the price. These are about 10 times rarer ish, and that's what's that? That's only 4 times the price. But this is, again, very small illiquid markets. All right, let's look at the running backs. Now, I didn't put the prices in for the running backs and wide receivers because this video would take a long time, and this does take time. But the data-wise, the running backs that came in with the highest weekly score, again, adding extras for the ones that had multiple superstar lineups. You're looking at Mixon 3 times, Taylor 3 times, Connor 2 times, Eckler 2 times, Fournette 2 times, Henry 2 times. This is last season. Then you got Aaron Jones, Chubb, Cook. I believe that's Dearness Johnson, Darrell Williams, Ezekiel, Gaskin, Kareem Hunt. I believe that's Justin Jackson. I'm sorry, that could possibly be Jamal Williams, Kamara, Carter, Najee Harris, Patterson, Penny, Ramondre Stevenson. McCaffrey, 0. So he's a superstar that had 0. Of course, he didn't play much last year, but even when he did play. And again, what I was talking about with the pocket passers, if you notice here, some of the lesser PPR monsters, more ground and pound type guys, Mixon, Taylor, Connor, Fournette, Henry, Chubb. Okay, now you did have Cook, which is a hybrid sort of, Aaron Jones, Eckler, Kamara, but, the ground and pounders did well last year as well. At least these numbers are coming in a little different than I expected compared to previous years of DraftKings type thing. Now, I didn't participate in DraftKings that much last year, and actually during COVID, because I was sort of hated sports during COVID with the empty stadiums and the BS and all the changing schedules and all that. Anyway, So if you look at this, 70% of these fell into what's considered the top 16-ish running backs this year, let's say. Tier-wise, there's 3. The third tier goes down to 15. So that could be a rough area where you say, okay, so 70% of these came in this area. That's McCaffrey, Taylor, Eckler, Cook, Henry, Harris. Those are all superstars. Then you go to the top non-superstars, something like Swift, Mixon, Kamara, Barkley, Aaron Jones, Fournette, Javonte Williams. Oh, this was Javonte Williams. I'm sorry. Javonte Williams, Chubb, down to Connor. Okay. If you want to go down to where it encompasses much more, 87% were down to about 40-ish ranked. Okay. Now that's a lot more to, like, if you want to buy one of each one, that's a lot more of them. To have a lot of lineups and a lot of possibilities of catching the big ones. So you could pick and choose from here on down, like Ezekiel, Etienne, Breece Hall, people that you can visualize popping in a given week and getting a mad score. I mean, Gibson could. There's all, Kareem Hunt could, Penny, Patterson, Singletary, and on down. But I sort of put a delineation here, again, with some added win ones. And there aren't prices here yet, but basically 70% of the highest scoring running back in a given week came in the top 15, as one of the top 16 ranked running backs right now, basically, is the way to approximately. And again, I don't have the price of this stuff on these. There's one running back spot, one wide receiver spot, one wide receiver / tight end, and then the flex spot. And there were several running backs that ended up coming in the flex spot, although the majority were wide receivers and tight end. Okay, so then we're going to go down to the wide receiver tight end spots, multiple. So you can see it's a longer list here. There's more diversity among those. And these were ones who came in as either the wide receiver, the second wide receiver / tight end, or the flex spot as the highest one. And then you have to bump them where they have multiples in a lineup. Because there were multiple lineups last year that had like Taylor, Allen, or not lineups, but multiple highest scoring weeks that had between 1 to 5, all 5 being superstars. They sort of based the superstars on what they did last year, plus expectations for a couple of the younger players, like Lamb. So Adams and Kupp came in 6 times each. They really dominated last year, obviously. A.J. Brown, Mark Andrews, tight end. Debo, 3 times. Tyreek Hill, 3 times. Chase, 2 times. E.J. Moore, 2 times. Higgins, 2 times. Jefferson, 2 times. Kittle, 2 times. Lockett, 2 times. Mike Williams, 2 times. Then you go down here, you got Cedric Wilson, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore. Sorry, that's, is his name E.J. Moore? My brain's not functioning. DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, Diggs, Ertz, Mike Evans, Gage, Godwin, Kelsey, Lamb, superstar only came in once. Brown, McLaurin, Metcalf, Peoples, Jones actually came in, Pittman, Renfro, St. Brown, Thielen, and Waddle. Those are basically all of them. If you go down to the 29th, the 29th rated wide receiver encompasses 83% of that list. However, the 19th ranked encompasses 75% of that list. So, and these numbers are going to vary from year to year. So if you look at how they're grouped on the sort of experts rankings for PPR league, this is full season, not week 1. You got the 4 up there, you got 5 there, down to 17 in the 3rd tier. So this is down to 19. So you could just cover these top 17 and then pick and choose, like Sutton, Mike Williams, other guys that you like. There's a lot of good ones in here. That's why I sort of highlight down to 31, because it's 83 goes down to 29, because this tier's got a lot of good ones. Waddle, McLaurin, Cooks, Pitts, Robinson, Metcalf. That's Robinson from the Rams, Metcalf, Brown, Mooney, St. Brown, Michael Thomas, Godwin, and Bateman. Then to go down to the next tier, if you want to look and pick and choose, you can see guys that are in that. Some of those could possibly pop. And then guys that aren't even in those tiers that I just jumped out at me. There's you're going to have your own ones you like, but guys I could visualize potentially popping for a top score in a given week, or a top 3 score basically. Lockett, Hopkins, Claypool, Gage, Gallup, Parker, Galladay, Osborne. There's many others, and then guys on this list, like I would think some of those are more likely than Amari Cooper to pop, or Brendan Ayuk, or people like that. Kirk could, Ayuk could, Schuster. A lot of people are really high on Judy. I'm not quite as high. You've even got the rookie London on here. So, and then this tier, you've got, I just went through that. So you may throw out a few of those, depending on how you want to do it. If you want to get all these top ones, that takes you to 75%, and all seven of the superstars are on. No, Diggs isn't a superstar. That's a mistake. Sorry. There's only 6 of these. Diggs is not a superstar. So Diggs is jacked up a lot right now in prices, because number 1, he's the highest ranked non-superstar wide receiver, and number 2, he's in the Rams-Buffalo game. Something for flippers to consider is, possibly selling it one if you have it before the Thursday game, before the Thursday showdown game. And then what's also obviously emerged the past couple seasons is tight ends. This is sort of the tight ends. I had to sort of figure where they would sit in this. This isn't because they were in a different category. But Kelsey somewhere there, Andrews somewhere there, Pitt somewhere there, and actually Kittle down here, down there. And this is all up to you. I actually, for example, went for a Mike Williams over an Allen in the marketplace recently, even though there was only like $1 difference. I sat and looked at it, and I'm like, who could pop more? Because I have a Herbert, and I wanted a receiver to go with him. I could get both. I just don't happen to have any extra money in my account. I keep reinvesting into other cards, and I don't want to put any more money in right now. The cards have run up a lot. I think the cards are starting to run up more and more. Like I said, the top tier players especially, the most, and then these are starting to move. We'll probably see some more movement in some of these especially. But so I think my overalls are up 25. My overall count's up like 25%, I would say, where they're currently valued at, and that's including buying 5 packs, and the packs are slightly losers. So the marketplace buys have done well. Now, I've been in this probably almost 3 weeks now, so I started fairly early, and the prices have definitely gone up since then, but even like now they're going up. Like I said, I think I checked this one just like 2 days ago, and it was like 300-ish, and it's 340 now. So the in-demand guys are going to keep rising. I probably don't have enough of the top tier of each position because they were already expensive, and I sort of went for a little bit lesser ones. I've been looking to sort of stack, but if you actually look last year, as far as who hit the highest, there weren't as many stacks as you would think. It was more just players that had a bust out week. So stacks may not necessarily work as well in this as they do in regular DraftKings contests on a week-to-week basis. But on the other hand, it can give you nice bang for the buck if that quarterback does throw 3 touchdowns to that receiver that week or whatever. And you can do multiple stacks as well. I have those. I don't know if I'm going to break them up or not, or how they're going to fit. Like I have Hurts with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I have some other ones. Like I said, I have Herbert and Mike Williams. Oh, I have Lamar Jackson with Andrew. No, I sold my Andrews. I didn't buy that back yet. I have him with Rashard Bateman, and I have other players on some of these teams as well. But I'm probably not sure if I'm going to add the lesser players. I have Russell Wilson with Sutton. I have both the Pittsburgh quarterbacks with Deontay Johnson, but I also have like the running back. I have a Harris, and I don't think I'm going to put him with them. I just made a buy yesterday. Like I said, I decided on Mike Williams over Allen. I also who did I get yesterday? Well, I can't remember right now. I mean, I've previously got guys like Chubb and Connor because they were cheap on a relative basis. They're starting to rise. I got Aaron Jones, same way. I mean, Kamara's been very jacked up on the whole thing. DeAndre Swift looked decent yesterday from what I remember. Let's see, who did I get? Who's the other one I got? As far as these, I think currently I own Herbert, Jackson, Hurts, a Wilson, a Rodgers, a Cousins, and a Carr. So I'm sort of a bargain hunter. And as far as the rare, as I mentioned, I haven't delved into much in the rare or elite yet. So I didn't get a rare in either of my packs that could have them. So I was like, I got to get a rare quarterback because I want to have one full semi-decent rare lineup. And I ended up deciding on Matt Ryan. And that was sort of in the whole group, even below these three. There's a whole group of 10 quarterbacks. And I'm like, well, I just decided on him. There's like Wentz, Goff. There's a whole bunch of them. Daniel Jones, guys like that. I would say these three are the ones that I like the best if he's healthy. And I'm assuming he's going to have a pretty good breakout year and he's going to have a good year. So, but Carr and Cousins have been looking good. Stafford looks good, but he's expensive. So anyway, I'm going to cut this one off. I went a little longer than I planned to. I'm going to try to maybe get the prices in on this for the next video. I also want to maybe just do a bargains video, what I think are the bargains right now for week 1 only. All right, have a good one, guys.